Welcome back, y'all. Today I'll be talking about thumbnails and some common mistakes I usually see when browsing YouTube. So the three common mistakes I've written down are first one being too busy or overcrowded. Second one being readability and contrast, mostly talking about the text or the title of your thumbnail. And my third is text sizing and or composition of your elements. So these are some examples of thumbnails that I found to be too busy and overwhelming or overcrowded. Like there's honestly too many elements in one thumbnail. There's also like sometimes too much text, or it just feels overwhelming. Like for the Christmas is Saved one, there's like too many icons that you don't even know where to look at. For the Marvel Rivals one, I would say it's a pretty good thumbnail, but it just feels overwhelming because of the colors in the background. So I would also try and avoid having too many colors in your thumbnail because it can feel overwhelming. For the bottom right one, there's just too many elements, and I would also avoid too much text. Keep it at one title because the person's just not gonna read it or they're not gonna know where to look at. This was my first point. Just avoid too much text and too many images and colors. So my second point was contrast and readability. So these are all good thumbnails, but the readability of the text being pretty bad, and that is because of the use of color. If you find it hard to notice or to tell if your text is readable or not, there are actually tools that help or provide you with a contrast checker. And the way this works is you just pick the color value of your background. So let's try and imitate the first one. So it was like a light green on a red orange. So I'll just pick the background color. So light green, and I'll pick the orange. And then it'll show you how good of the contrast ratio is. And that way you can determine if your text is readable or not. I'll put the link down of the tool down in the description. And same thing goes for the color grading thumbnail. And honestly, how you could fix this is just by using other colors or by decreasing the brightness of the background of your thumbnail or adding some shadow. My next point would be text composition and sizing. So these are also pretty decent thumbnails, but I find that the text positioning is lacking. So I want to show you guys how I would fix one of these thumbnails. So as you guys can see, I made a quick adjustment just by resizing the text. And honestly, don't be afraid to make use of your space when making a thumbnail. I feel like my version stands out way more than the original one. What do you guys think? Which one would you be more likely to click on? I want to end this video off by showing some examples of thumbnails that I find good and explain to you why these are good thumbnails, in my opinion. My biggest advice when it comes to making a thumbnail is that your main image, your key visual, is the most important element when it comes to a thumbnail. A title and other images are just additional things, but your main image needs to be your priority. And as you can see on these thumbnails, their key images are what stands out. The text is just an extra. Like I just said, your key visual needs to be the main focus. So these are some examples of thumbnails without any text, but they're still very clean and good. It doesn't even need to have a title. Just using an image that is clear and relevant to the content and title of your video is all you need, to be honest. So to wrap up this video, don't make your thumbnails too busy or overcrowded. Keep it to a limit to 3 elements: your key image, 1 title, an additional image, but don't go beyond that. Number 2, make your titles or text readable. And number 3, make good use of the sizing of your text and the composition of your elements. One thing I forgot to mention on the first thumbnail is don't put any small text on your thumbnails, because firstly, people are not going to be reading it, and secondly, it's not even readable, so you won't even be able to read it. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.